Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kristi. I'm an Ivy League educated PA. My entire goal on this channel is to help you understand that manifesting using the law of assumption is simply deliberately manipulating your brain's natural functions to your benefit. It is not spiritual, it is not complicated, it is very simple. There is nothing woo-woo about it, and I am here to authentically and transparently share my life with you as I manifest the life of my dreams. Well, let's take the woo-woo out of manifesting. So if you watched the last video, I went over my 2025 first quarter resolutions and how they went. This video is going to be my 2025 second quarter resolutions, which basically brings us April, May, and June. So we are getting into summer. I love summer. I used to hate summer. When I was really heavy, when I was nearly 300 pounds heavy, I hated summer because I was so hot and my legs would stick together and I would get rashes and it was just, but now that I am down 100 pounds, I love summer. So if you need motivation for that, yes, getting smaller makes the heat more tolerable. But we are going to go through and write my new resolutions for the categories of health, wealth, and relationships for the second quarter of 2025. All right, so I have written out my resolutions for the next 3 months. So let's talk through them. So first up is health. So I took a look at how I set up the systems to embody the idea of the healthy woman that I aspire to be. And all of that worked out well. I was able to follow my plan for that, with the exception of I didn't do a great job of 2 to 3 times a week weight training. I did do a good job with walking, but not weight training. So I don't want to be a girly who is a hustle, masculine energy, go, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle kind of girly. So I'm changing it to minimum of 1 time per week. I feel like that is manageable. People are having a party outside my apartment. I feel like 1 time a week is manageable. And then if I feel inspired and I want to be a twice a week gym girly, then great. I'm still going to do my 4 to 5 walks every week. That has been working out wonderful. It feels great for my mental health. My body feels really good doing walks. It's doing wonders for my weight loss as well. So we're going to keep the walks. I'm going to continue taking tirzepatide. Tirzepatide has been a godsend. I love using a GLP-1 to help me with my weight loss. It is something that I believe in strongly, and therefore my ability to continue to take tirzepatide will manifest itself because it's something that I want. I believe in it strongly, and I believe that I get everything I want. So I will be able to continue to take tirzepatide this quarter. Now, a habit that I want to do, I want to be a girly who easily leaves food on her plate. I don't want to have to finish everything on my plate. I am 42 years old, and in the 1980s, I don't know if you experienced this depending on your age, but my parents would not let me get up from the table until I had finished everything on my plate. I do not believe that my parents had a good understanding of what child's portions should be like. I do remember an instance when I was young. I hated broccoli. I love it now, but I hated it at the time. I didn't hate all vegetables. I loved squash. I loved peas. There were plenty of vegetables that I liked. I hated broccoli. I remember my parents made me sit at the table until I finished my broccoli. I sat there for hours. I remember I eventually ate the broccoli cold. I hated it so much that I threw up. Bless my parents, they were only doing what they thought would be good for me. However, now I have, or in the past rather, I have had this compulsion, this urge, I can't get up from the table until I finish everything on my plate. I don't want to be that girly. I would rather be, and I've been working on this for a while, so this is not a new thing, but this is something that I want to be extra focused on this quarter so that it becomes my new normal, it becomes my dominant state. I am now a girly who always easily leaves food on her plate. I do not feel any sort of compulsion or pressure to finish everything that is on my plate. That is an important aspect of being a slender person. All of the people that I know that are naturally slender, that grew up slender, they feel no problems whatsoever not finishing the food on their plates. And so that is an embodiment of an identity that I am actively going to focus on this quarter. And then finally, my goal body, when I envision myself in my goal body, still going to be Taylor Swift from the Eras Tour. She ate with that. The Eras Tour body is beautiful and I want it, so I will have it. In terms of wealth, I aspire to be a wealth conscious and financially savvy girly. I grew up with parents that were poor and had poor person mindset. Love my parents. Again, this is no shade on them, but they just didn't know how to teach me to have a rich person mindset. So I am learning that now. I'm getting a lot of help from YouTube, some help from TikTok creators. And so my wealth journey is me embodying the wealth conscious, financially savvy, incredibly rich woman that I aspire to be. So I will monetize my YouTube. If it didn't happen by the time you're seeing this video, then it's happening this quarter. So I'm going to continue to publish at least one video a week. Can't monetize a YouTube channel when I'm not a YouTuber, right? If I'm not making videos, I'm not a YouTuber, so we gotta post videos. I'm gonna continue to visualize and affirm for my YouTube channel, which I have been very diligent about doing. I consider myself a YouTuber now, and I know that I will be a full-time YouTuber, so that is what my affirmation is. I'm a full-time YouTuber. I will continue to improve every video that I make. I am learning a new craft. I am learning the craft of YouTube, and so I need to actively work to improve the content of every video, so that's on my list as well. And then finally, and then next, I want to have $10,000 in my emergency fund. This first quarter, I got $5,000 in my emergency fund. And then in the second quarter, I want it to be 10. By the end of the year, I aim to have $20,000 in an emergency fund. So 10K in an emergency fund is what is gonna be the goal for this quarter. And last quarter, I had a certain amount of my paycheck automatically put into savings in order for me to achieve that goal fairly effortlessly. And I was able to do that. So this quarter, things may be a little bit different, because if you watched my video, my salary was cut in half on a phone call that I had just a couple days ago. However, I'm continuing to manifest for bringing in $20,000 a month, and sometimes things gotta shift around in order for that to happen. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna get my $5,000 in addition to the original $5,000. I don't know how I'm gonna get my $10,000 total in my emergency fund this quarter, but I am going to. One of the things that I need to do and desire to do is to sell my purge items. So I have been going through, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I have acquired things over the last 3 years of living here that are just too much for this space, and I don't want to get a bigger apartment. I want to have less things. So I have in my living room accumulated a purge pile. I need to go through my closet and do a purge in my closet. There's a couple of spots in my apartment left that I need to purge, but I want to sell everything in my purge pile and then put all of the money that I get from selling things into my emergency fund. So that may take care of it with just that. Maybe there's $5,000 worth of things in my purge pile. I don't know. We'll see, but that is, I gotta sell the purge pile. I've been looking at these purge items for probably a year at this point. I need to prioritize that. So that is on my resolutions. I will continue my I remember when affirmations. I have been dedicated to, whenever I think about my student loans, I remember when I used to have student loans. I'm so glad those are not a part of my life anymore. It's Neville Goddard's technique. It puts you in the state of that experience being in the past and your new experience being what is now present. So I will continue my I remember when, because it's a little bit of an I remember when challenge. I want to see if I remember when is a good technique for manifesting using the law of assumption. Neville Goddard loved it, so I am using it. If it takes me, I don't care really how long it takes. I've been using this for about 5 months now, and the facts of the situation are that when I look at my bank statements and all of that, I still have student loans, right? But the truth of the matter is that those loans will be removed in some way, whether I pay them off, whether they get taken away, whether they get forgiven, whether there's a glitch in the system, whether the total economy collapses and they get rid of everybody's student loans. I don't know how, but my student loans will be gone at some point. I'm curious to see how long it will take using the I remember when technique, but I am not married to a time frame. I've already had them for 20 years. If it takes 5 years for I remember when to work, fine. If it takes way less than that, fine. It can happen like this, so I'm not stressed, but I will be continuing I remember when. And then in order to be the financially savvy, wealth conscious, super rich girl that I want to be, I have added a read about wealth daily. So whether that's an article, a book, or seeking out some sort of social media information about being wealthy, I want to incorporate that into my day-to-day life so that I can embody the wealth conscious girly that I would love to be faster. And then finally, for the category of relationships, I'm going to continue to nurture friendships. That worked out so well for me this quarter. I feel so fulfilled in my social life. It helps me not stress about my dating life to have an active friendship social life. So I'm going to continue to nurture my friendships. I've been hanging out with friends at least once a week for the entire quarter, and that feels really, really good. So I'm going to keep doing that. For dating, I have found that a good number of men in my rotation is 3. If I'm talking to more than 3 men at a time, it begins to feel like a hassle and it begins to feel overwhelming. So whatever happens, I will always act in a way that will allow me to have 3 men in rotation. So right now I've got 3 men that I'm talking to. That is plenty. If any of those men drops off the rotation for whatever reason, then I will get back on Hinge and I will find another suitable man to add to the rotation, and I will continue to have 3 until I'm in my dream relationship and engaged to be married. So that is my plan for that. I'm gonna continue to talk to my dad once a week. I feel like that is a good habit to be in. Once a week feels very doable for me. Anything more than that feels stressful, and I do not want to add pressure to myself in a stressful way. That is not what we're doing with these goals here. This is about naturally embodying the person that I would rather be, instead of having a list of things that I have to do because there's pressure and whatever. Like, this is who I'd like to be, and I don't want to pressure myself to be anything. And then finally, choose myself savagely. I have a history of being a people pleaser. I have a history of accepting poor treatment. No one taught me how to date and approach men when I was growing up. My dad did not have any conversations with me about the nature of men. My mom never talked to me about dating. That was something that I went into with literally no skills or knowledge. I knew the way that my dad treated my mom, which was good. He was a good man to her, but the resources that he had were limited because we grew up with no money and they had poor people mindset. So the relationship experience that I desire to have, it was never modeled for me. And that's not a bang on my dad. My dad is a good man. He did what he could, but he did not have a lot of the qualities of the man that I aspire to have. So I am learning that the women who have the relationships that I am looking to have are far more self-involved than I was ever taught to be. And I am happier the more self-involved I am. I am still a very giving person. I'm a charitable person. I love caring about others, but I was doing that to a degree that was harmful to me. And so I am learning to take those steps back, reclaim my own independence and autonomy, and not focus too much on my romantic relationships, not give too much when I don't have to give, and to really choose to fill my own cup and keep it full so that there is an abundance that I can give to other things. And in order to do that, I'm going to continue, and I've been doing this, but I want to focus on it a little bit more deliberately, to choose myself savagely. So in my mind, what this means is not only am I going to choose myself, but I'm going to choose myself and not feel bad about that. That is where I am currently embodying the woman that I aspire to be, the woman that I would prefer to live life as. In my mind, the happy, healthy, adored woman that I want to be is going to choose herself when herself needs to be chosen. She's not going to feel bad about it because there's nothing to feel bad about. So if guilt ever creeps in, I'm going to remind myself that I actually choose myself savagely. So that is my second quarter 2025 resolutions and how I intend to embody the version of myself that would have these things so that they come to pass in the second quarter. If you have any questions about this, please do drop it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you got value from this video, and I know that you did, do interact with it, share, like, comment, subscribe so that YouTube knows it's valuable and it will continue to push it out to people so we can take the woo-woo out of manifesting. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.